for whatever reason, and without knowing what's coming next, Janusz is going to have to decide where to put this name. The topic today is Manchester United's biggest flops since Sir Alex Ferguson left. So there have been lots of transfers over the last decade or so since Sir Alex left. We're going to give Janusz some random names. He knows that number 1 is the biggest flop of them all. Number 10, the least floppiest of the 10 names that I've got to give you. Are you ready, Janusz? Do you know how to do this?
I am ready. It's just the worst thing is like anticipating what I think you may say, which names. But of course, the names I think about may never come up. So this is fun. But it's going to be crazy bad.
That's what you've got to get in your head. You might think that name's coming, so I don't want to put that player too high. All right, let's get started. 1 to 10. The number 1 being the worst. Jadon Sancho.
Jadon Sancho, 3.
3. 3 with Jadon Sancho. That's pretty high, Janusz, to start with.
Well, because, I mean, if you call the 2 names that I think you're going to call, then they're clearly, for me, number 1 and 2, probably. So I'm just taking a chance that the 2 names are going to come up.
Okay, but it was quite quick that you answered 3 even for Jadon Sancho, and that he's not further down the list. So that's quite a strong feeling there.
Yeah, I mean, he's done absolutely nothing, right? Nothing on the pitch. I mean, off the pitch, I mean, there's been issues with him. We've seen that, I know this is about Manchester United, but we see that continue right now in the Bundesliga as well. He's not playing, and when he is playing, he's not doing well. So, yeah, it's been very, very disappointing no matter where he's been.
Okay, number 2, Alexis Sanchez.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't very good. I'll put him 4 again and
4.
hold it up. Yeah, because again, let me put it this way. I have clear number 1 and 2 being the worst. So, I mean, since 3 is Jadon Sancho, I have to put Sanchez 4th.
Okay, because remember, there were a lot more names to come, so you could go further.
I know.
All right. I'm going to make a note of this myself, but I know our producers are on it. So, the 3rd name I'm going to give to you is Mamma Mia, Angel Di Maria.
Oh, yeah, you're probably not going to give those names. See, that's going to look bad. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't great, that's for sure. Didn't like it there, didn't love it. I think got robbed there. Who knows what happened with him. But now I have to put him at number 5. And I know this is going to look silly if my 2 names don't come up. So, but I'm sure you will.
But are you just if your 2 names don't come up, are you just going to keep going 5, 6, 7, 8 with everything?
Well,
you've still got 10, 9, 8, 7 available.
Well, I mean, Di Maria hasn't done anything, so I feel good with it there and with the players that I have. I mean, if you don't come up with the 2 names, they're obviously a bit silly. But now I'm going to start thinking differently because we're almost halfway there, aren't we?
Okay, well, this is what we want from you. Just the 3 names so far.
Oh, 3.
All right, next name for you, Paul Pogba.
Ooh, Paul Pogba again. But because I mean, the thing is that there's been some signs with him, right? I mean, he's been good. So what positions have I not? Because I don't see the list.
So he's obviously not your 1 and 2 that you've got in your head.
No.
You've still got 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 being the least of the worst.
Right. I'll give him 6 because I can recognize the talent. I think there's been enough games where I feel, I mean, he was a good player. A lot of these names are obviously decent players in the past. I think when he was there, I didn't dislike him as much as some of the other names that you've mentioned. And perhaps even United fans probably didn't dislike him as much. So, yeah, I'm going to keep him. What is it now, 5th or 6th?
Are you sure you don't want to go like 7, 8, 9, or 10 then with him? Do you think 6 is a bit low then? The 6th worst signing?
No, I'm going to trust my gut. Unless you're coming up with some, crazy old names that are nowhere near to what we see right now. I mean, we are talking about Manchester United, whom, most of the players currently are flops. So I'm hoping that some of those names are going to come up. I could be wrong.
Okay, and just a reminder, if you are joining us late, guys, those of you viewing, this is since Sir Alex's departure. So this is transfers that have come in since Sir Alex left. Okay. Donny van de Beek.
Number 1.
He was was that in your head?
I don't even know that he was there. Yeah, I told you I have clear number 1 and number 2.
But you didn't even know that he was there, but that was your clear number. That was your one in your head.
I didn't know, obviously, that he wasn't there, but I took a chance. As I told you, you were trying to push me, press me to put him high. You know, I kind of felt that if you know, I'm going to reserve my first 2, and look, I like Van de Beek, you know, but I don't even know that he was there. I don't remember when he played, how he played. I mean, there's nothing to remember him by, and that is unfortunate. But that's, you know, he takes over another name that I hope comes up, and they have something in common. But we'll see.
Okay. Next, Romelu Lukaku.
Ooh,
I'll tell you spots you've got left. You've got number 2 left. You've got number 7, 8, 9, and 10 left.
I think I'll put him at 7. He scored enough goals. I mean, didn't accomplish much. I mean, he's always been a disappointing figure, but I'm gonna put him up there. So 7, whatever is, he's not gonna be number 1.
Okay, so Paul Pogba was a worse transfer for Manchester United than Romelu Lukaku.
Oh, wait a second. How does that work?
This is what you've got to start thinking. It doesn't matter because you can't change it now.
No.
But this is what you've got to have in your head because you keep
going. Reverse that. I meant to say. So what did I have? Where's Paul Pogba? Again,
this is why I was warning you. You've given Paul Pogba number 6. We can't change it now.
Okay.
But anyway,
well, then
this is what you've got to have in your head. That other names could come up. That if you think they weren't that bad, maybe they should be lower on your list.
I'll live with it. I'll live it. The sun will come up tomorrow.
All right. Next is Memphis Depay.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm stuck with W.
You've got 8, 9, and 10 left. Because I know he's not your number 2, right?
No. Well, it has to be 8th. I mean, it has to be. I can't. Yeah, I trumped myself with that one because I like. Yeah, okay.
8. You should have been a bit more scattered with them. All right.
Yeah, I should have.
Anthony.
No. What's got number 2? Those are 2 names that I thought they were going to come up. I told you that 2 have something in common where they came from. So at least I'm happy with my worst 2 players. I got what I wanted.
So knowing that, obviously you didn't know he was coming up, but knowing that you had him in your head in case he did come up, why so firm on this being a flop?
Well, I mean, look, first and foremost, I could have gone with Anthony number 1 over Van de Beek, but I think just in general, I think he just got there. There's something to him. We've seen it at Ajax. Overall, I like a much better player. But I mean, he's done nothing so far. I mean, the price tag is hefty. Obviously, all of them are flops for the most part, right? If I had to say, but. Yeah, I gave him number 2. I gave them benefit of the doubt because, I mean, I've seen something in that player at Ajax. I haven't seen it just yet. That was my decision between Van de Beek and Anthony, not knowing what names are going to come up.
2 names left. Radamel Falcao, 9 or 10?
Oh, I wonder what's the other name. But, yeah, I would say 10. I mean, it wasn't good, right? I mean, it wasn't good at all. Like 1 and 2, I was sure, but that name I didn't think was going to come up. I'm going to give him 10. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, 9. 9.
9.
9. That's I hope that the 10's got to be better than Falcao.
Okay, number 10 is your only spot left, and the only name I've got to give you is Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's about right from all the names that you've read. Of course, yeah, I wish, the 6, 7, 8, 9, that, that's the part that I wish I got better because, Falcao is worse than Pogba and yeah. But, the first and second and the 10th, which I think are the most important ones, I think I got it right.
Okay, so here's a bit of look back, a little refresher for you, Janusz.
Paul Pogba would have been higher in my book. Di Maria, maybe a point up there. I think, Lukaku, I think, obviously I would have put ahead of Falcao, that's for sure. So in my 9th spot, I think I would have had Romelu Lukaku. Now that I look, Paul Pogba would have been maybe 8th. so that middle part, obviously, the game got the better of me, but I'm pretty happy with number 10, and I'm very happy with my number 1 and 2.
You're happy with Cristiano Ronaldo being the least flop of the flops here?
Absolutely. I mean, he's okay. It's not the first. It's not the first, Cristiano Ronaldo that came on the scene, such a young player playing a right wing and scoring, 30 plus goals in that season, which was unbelievable, obviously. And he's been a divisive figure in the second go around, even though you're scoring goals. But I still think you have to recognize quality, which he's shown, right? So I didn't necessarily go here by amount of money spent on these players, because this is not what the game was all about. I think when you look at talent, when you look what he's done, I mean, he's done better than probably anybody else on that list for the most part, right?
Yeah, I want to play this again with you another week, but let's talk about some honourable mentions. Were there any names that you thought might come up that didn't off the top of your head?
Probably Harry Maguire. Right,
I mean, we had him on an honourable mention list in case.
That's probably a good name, which I think probably would have been somewhere in the middle there. I mean, obviously not great, but not absolutely horrible. I mean, there's a couple players that won some titles in that span, right? Which you could somehow justify. I thought that maybe Casemiro, because it's a good topic. What do you think? Big player. I guess it's great because now, if it was just this season, that would have been totally different as well, right? So Casemiro, the one that came in last year, as opposed to the one that's playing right now. So I thought maybe his name is gonna come up, or somebody like Varane. But obviously we went deeper in the history, and that's fair play, right? Because it's since Sir Alex Ferguson. So Falcao surprised me a little bit, because I almost, I mean, not that I didn't know he played it, but it's almost, wait a second, yeah, he did play for Manchester United type of thing. And I would have put him differently. I think that the middle order, I didn't get it right, because maybe I was too focused on who's going to be my number 1 and 2 and who's going to be the 10 and 9. So we all learned the game. Fair play.
Of course. That's why I want to play with you again, because obviously this is the first time you've done it. But I was trying to give you those clues, because I felt that you were quite complimentary in the end of Paul Pogba. And I thought maybe he'll regret not putting him further down the list in the end.
Yes. I think, and in my mind, my thinking about him was actually more positive than
exactly
what the narrative was. But because I anticipated different names, I kind of felt maybe I'll put him somewhere there, kind of in the middle, and I would have put him a little bit higher, I suppose. So yeah,
I'll give you Anthony Martial. Did you think his name might come up?
I did. I wouldn't have been kind to him. I think he would, I mean, Jadon Sancho longevity wasn't all that long, but I think I would have had him somewhere there, 3 or 4, Martial, because such a frustrating player. I mean, we've seen the quality from him, that at times he looks unplayable, but because of the talent that he had and just his body language, constant injuries, and almost a feel as if he didn't care, I think would have pushed me to put him up there. I think matter of fact, I was almost 100% sure that you're going to bring his name, because he would have been an automatic one for me, as begrudgingly kind of a flop, because the talent is there. I mean, it's incredible in terms of footballing intelligence. It's there.
Absolutely. Before we talk Lionel Messi, which is coming up next here on the show, we did want to ask you, who is your biggest flop as a manager since Sir Alex Ferguson left?
Oh, I think, Ragnick, maybe. I mean, it's a difficult time because it was out of nowhere. He's telling some truth, and he was now, right? Because even recently I saw a coy, statements from him type of that the issues there are deeper. I was talking about that. He was probably right, but I just think, as much as I liked him as a manager, the fact that he didn't manage for 10 years, and just to get him up there, sort of intern, but in charge of the club and all of that, I think he was super disappointing. I think he would have been my number 1.
Yeah, I wonder if you'd say David Moyes there, given that it's almost like his name is used as an example now as to when a top manager leaves, we say, oh, will it be like David? scenario.
Yeah, but he had a much tougher situation, and that may be just why I wouldn't have put him there, right? Because he came immediately after Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson recommended him, and you know, that drop-off was kind of, you know, you could anticipate that a little bit. It was never going to be easy for anybody, I suppose. So I think Rangnick would have taken over him.